If you're new to Nightfall Nexus and you want to get better at it, then here are 10 totally good tips and tricks that all players should probably know in Nightfall Nexus. Pressing tab shows the player list, how much money someone has and stuff, and also shows all the controls in the game such as X to ping and H to drop $100 and so on. You can also press P to change the game difficulty, uh, that change the game setting like enemy stats and apocalypse mode, which increases enemy count and speed of enemies and other stats, I think. So unless you know what you're doing, keep apocalypse mode off. And again, you can change the scaling level if you want more of a challenge, or if you're like solo, you could just do whatever you want, and or you could just turn it off. It's whatever. Also choosing any of these options does bring up a voting menu. So yeah, you can also go into the settings in the lobby and change some things like damage indicator, quick reload, zoom crosshair, etc. Some of these features are not enabled by default, which should be enabled though. So just make sure you check the settings out and change some things before you actually start playing. You can change them later, it's whatever. You can also change your avatar as well. Use either the sick chat ones you get by default, or you can use your Roblox avatar. Team upgrade that you should always buy first is the Team Pack passive upgrade because it essentially gives you and your teammates double the cash per kill. At least I think so. You can buy this on wave 1 or wave 2 or just share your cash and give it to one person so they can buy it since it's a global upgrade. And some maps start you off with enough money to buy it right off the bat. So yeah, buy it. Because it's kind of annoying when you and your team are on like wave 5 and you still haven't bought like the most important upgrade. So yeah, always buy this upgrade first. So you and your teammates will be happy and rich. Other upgrades like the Hireling Pack and the Reinforcement Pack, Barbed Wire Pack, Barricade Pack, those are good to get first after Team Pack. I usually get those first. And since upgrading your allies is very important, allies are like essential for your survival in like any situation. And yeah, usually save upgrades like Power Play Landmine and Incendiary for last, since you won't really be using those items till late game, and some upgrades also can only be bought once. Allies of course can be bought multiple times with a cooldown, and the base upgrade station does change depending on the map you're playing, specifically endless maps since they get a whole new tab which allows you to buy endless exclusive items like the Comet Phone. In the main menu in the Armory tab, there are cosmetics, allies, and weapons. Weapons are obviously different guns for primary and secondary, and you also get different melees as well. These are bought with Empryon, so yeah, they're not free, but you can equip these weapons in the Armory locker in-game if you already bought them. These weapons aren't necessarily better, they're more of like cosmetic in a way, but arguably some are, like the Effenfell, which is a favorite. It's really good because it has good spread, recoil, and damage, and it's arguably just way better than most assault rifles in the game. Which, fun fact, there are 98 guns in the game, I think. Other weapons you can buy in the armory are like the giant spoon, or a frying pan, or a wizard staff. Whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat. Pretty cool. Then you have the allies, which are not cosmetic, by the way, because something that a lot of people get confused with sometimes is that these are cosmetic. They're not. They completely change the stat of your combatants. Take the flamethrower guy, for example. You could either go with the default one, or you could buy the Prisoner Gordon, which probably does double the damage, but has to reload a lot. So, pro and a con. Each ally comes with different stats, again, but it really depends on what map you're going with, I guess. You also have the Shogun, which is the second most powerful ally, Bull being first, I guess. I usually go with the heavy armored Empire Soldier, or you could go with whatever you want. Again, it depends on like the situation or whatever. Panzer, which is my personal favorite, he's pretty good because he doesn't come back as an infected after death. Shogun by default, when it dies, comes back as a pretty powerful zombie, but Panzer doesn't come back as a zombie, making him a good variant to use, so you don't have more problems if he dies. Which is ironic, because fun fact, this guy was actually meant to be an enemy, but he became an ally instead, so pretty cool. You also got the Shotgun Spaz combatant, which is arguably the worst combatant. Usually you're not going to use Spaz, but I mean, You can use him sometimes. It's whatever. Might as well if you can hire him. You also got stationaries. You can change those, but they only have like one variant as of right now. Same with like the flamethrower, the bull, but I'm sure they'll get more variants later on. You also got the cosmetics, pretty drippy. Um, these are level locked actually, so only true real soldiers can buy some of these. As I mentioned before, there are like 98 guns in the game if you include the armory weapons. So I don't blame you if you have no idea what gun you want to use. So I'll just give you some recommendations. First of all, Effenfell, again, it's a good gun, arguably one of the like top 5 ARs in the game. You also got things like the double golds, M60, the chainsaw melee, which is actually the best melee weapon in terms of damage, doing like 320 damage, I believe. You also got the halberd, which isn't an armory weapon, but it has the fastest swing rate in the game, which is pretty fast. You also got like the Sega 12, the Automag MKX, all good weapons, but honestly, there's like two weapons that you would use that come from the armory. For the weapon racks, though, most of the guns are all the same in terms of stats. They're very similar. You're not going to find a specific gun that's just better than another, I guess. Me personally, I always go with an LMG since they're arguably better. Literally, the best paid weapon is an LMG, the MG42, I'd say. Some people use, like most people use the MG42 actually, because when upgraded, it's just super good. Other paid weapons are pretty good, but again, you're really usually gonna go with like the MG42. At least I think so. Rocket launchers and stuff, they're okay, but they're only good for very specific situations, since literally getting more ammo for them during the wave costs as much money as it is to buy the weapon in the first place. So they kind of just suck. Snipers are really good. I like snipers. Snipers are reliable, good damage, good range, and snipers actually have a specific sniper scope as well, so that's how you know it's a sniper. Honestly, it really depends what perks and what class you are. Whatever build you're going with, choose a gun that's suited for that build. LMGs and snipers, ARs are the best, I'd say. SMGs and pistols, dual wields, they kind of just suck. Like, you're never really going to use them, it's not worth it. Because I feel like a lot of builds just don't work. Because a lot of zombies, like, you kind of just, like, can't use it. I don't know. Game's balancing is questionable, but it is what it is. Just find a gun you like and, yeah. If you ever want to know what an item does specifically, you can always go into the archive in the main menu, which has specific information on enemies, weapons, items, maps, and allies. It's not exactly too organized, so you're not gonna really know where enemies are from. Take the prison warden, for example. Yeah, you're not gonna know where the guy's from, you're just gonna have to guess. Um, yeah. You can also see the stats of weapons, but honestly, I suggest you just go into the game and figure out the stats yourself. There is a map called Item Test, which you can go in and test out different weapons, their upgrades and stuff, and how your perks and your class affect a weapon. You also have the items, which some things that I should point out that a lot of people don't actually know what they do or how they work, are like the armor piercer. How the armor piercer works is that, first of all, it's a placeable, and when you place it down, when an enemy steps on the armor piercer, their armor, if they have armor, gets completely removed permanently, and bullets do not protect them anymore. It stays permanent, the armor piercer itself, and it's very useful on pretty much every single map. There's usually like one spot where zombies spawn, and Pathfind to you where it gets all of them. So armor piercers, you always want to have at least one, depending on the map you're on. Usually placing it mid-game is best, or early game, it depends. You also got things like the wooden and electric barricade, which, when zombies step on them, they get slowed down, and electric barricade actually does a little bit of damage, I believe. Of course, you got landmine, it explodes, obviously. You got the barricade and metal barricade, which take aggro of the zombies if, you know, the barricade is blocking their path. It's a good distraction, and can save you in quite a few situations. It just stalls zombies. They're cheap, and yeah. You also, of course, got the turrets, and you also got the jet flare, which spawns in a jet, which does like 5,000 to 9,000 damage in a huge area. Very good, but it costs like $9,000, so you're really only going to be using that late game if you're rich. And yeah, the other things are pretty obvious. Uh, you also got the incendiary grenade, does damage, does some stun, slow down zombies. Got the pipe bomb, which attracts like half the enemies in the game and does like a lot of damage. So good distraction for like 13 seconds. I believe it explodes after 13 seconds. Um, you also got the Comet Fell, which is endless exclusive. You got a few other things like barricades that are endless exclusive. You can go figure that out. Play the game. Yeah. Got a bunch of other stuff. Bear Trap, which does a lot of damage. Insta kill smaller enemies. Does like 1,000 damage, 2,000 damage, depending on like if it's a boss or a true boss. Health bars indicate true bosses, by the way. Smaller enemies, again, insta-killed, and yeah, pretty good. Oh, you also got the smoke grenade. The smoke grenade permanently disables enemies' armor upon contact. It's good for maps where armor piercer can't really be used, like Last Stand, since it's a 360 map and there's no clear place to place an armor piercer. Smoke grenades are good, I guess, but again, they're very like specific for like you're usually never gonna use a smoke grenade. It's kind of a waste of space and a waste of money. Like I've literally never used a smoke grenade, I think, and I'm over level 100, so yeah. Yo Zen, buff it. Each map has its own enemy set, so not all the maps are gonna have the same amount of enemies. They're not gonna have the same enemy stats. It can be very different. Like Cold-Blooded compared to Lockdown. Lockdown is significantly harder because they got enemies which like have healing fields which heal nearby zombies, while Cold-Blooded doesn't really have that. So always keep that in mind, I guess. And again, like different maps, different enemies, different defense positions, etc. More of like a smaller tip, I guess, but I don't know. I have to make this 10 somehow. For upgrades, I'd usually go with reserve and mag capacity first. That way you can at least use your primary / strongest gun and not need to worry about having to buy more ammo, because during the pre-wave ammo is free, so you usually want to like try to not buy ammo since it saves you some money. And yeah, it's just best to go with reserve and mag, so you're still in the game, you don't have to waste money or whatever. Then I'd go with like damage, and fire rate, reload and stuff. But yeah, just ammo count is probably the best upgrade you should go with first. For other things like character upgrade, always buy the first like at least one health upgrade so you don't die in one hit, because a lot of enemies do basically 1 to 2 shot you if you don't have more than 100 HP. So yeah, just always buy the first health upgrade at least. Health regen is also really good, so you don't have to spend money on health packs, and you don't need a medic, so you could just wait out till your health is fully regenerated. And yeah, usually you're not gonna use or upgrade your secondary, like that's just extra money. I don't really know. Me personally, I've never upgraded my secondary. I don't actually know when you would ever use your secondary. I mean, you know what they say, switching to your secondary is quicker than reloading, but honestly, I think reloading is just better. For melee, you should definitely upgrade damage and swing speed first. I would go with swing rate, upgrade swing rate, and then maybe upgrade like 1 or 2 damage so you're still one-shotting enemies, because most enemies will be one-shot by your melee weapon. If you at least get like 1 melee damage upgrade, bash damage, always do that last, because bash usually doesn't do much damage, so you should always just say that last. You should always, first of all, stick with your team. Like if you have medic, stick by your medic. So, like if you're frontlining, melee guy, tanker, or whatever, you can always have a medic heal you. So yeah, just obviously stick by your team, bigger chance of survival. But also, you should always, usually, always defending near the upgrade table, or the upgrade base upgrade station, so you can hire allies. Which, of course, allies, especially for solo, like me, I'm a solo guy. You always want to stick near your upgrade station so you can hire allies, which just completely turn the tides in battle. For like maps like Endless, you definitely want to stick by your upgrade table or stick behind barricades and stuff. Just always stay behind. Like if you're not a tank slash melee build, then you always want to stay behind allies or walls and other defenses. Like defend behind turrets and stuff. Yeah. I mean, don't be rushing in out of nowhere, you know? Pretty obvious. First of all, when you place a turret, it cannot be moved, okay? If somebody else places a turret and you place another turret, your turret, well, if the turret cap is already met, and then you try to place another turret, even though there's already 4 on the field, it overrides the oldest turret most of the time, and so now there's another turret, which is basically just a waste of money. Also, you should always try to communicate with your team somehow, and if somebody has a turret build, then they should be placing the turrets, not you. Like if you have somebody rocking 4 turret perks and they're a fields mechanic or whatever it's called, they should be the ones repairing and placing turrets. Nobody else. Like if anything, you should give him money so he can place turrets. Also, don't place turrets in the front lines, because at the end of the day, you're usually not gonna be defending the front lines. Like, say wave 5 comes around, it's a horde, and then you get overrun, and then now all your turrets are dead, and it's just a huge waste of money. So always think before you place your turrets, alright? Plan ahead. Place it behind your allies, or maybe in a high ground spot so they can't even get hit. Also, turrets like can distract enemies. The enemies will destroy your turrets. Personally, I usually go with a medic or backliner. Um, Again, it kind of depends. You can just choose whatever perk you want, whatever class you want to go with. Feel free to go with it. Um, Not all classes are like good though. A lot of classes are just kind of arguably terrible, like Heavy Soldier or Empire's Front. They're kind of just default classes which don't even do anything. Other classes like Fields Bombardier, like this guy sucks. Like you're pretty much no one's ever running Field Bombardier. You also got like War Engineer, not really that good, not worth using. Gladiator kind of just sucks because their armor regeneration is just really low. But like for the most part, you could just go with whatever you want. Again, Medic is really good. And then you also got like Bulwark or Warden or Lancelot, which is pretty fun. Whatever floats your boat. Those are like the ones that I just mentioned are like kind of the most best that you should probably go with. Another thing, Soul Support is a perk first of all, which yeah, always go Soul Support. Like it doesn't really matter what perk you're using. Well, I mean it kind of does, but like 99% of the time, you're always gonna want to run Soul Support. It's just really good. For specialist perks, just go with whatever, I guess. Again, it just depends on what you're, like, contributing to the team. Like, if you're gonna take the role as the turret, guy, then go run turret perks. If you're gonna be a tanker, run defense perks, health perks, melee damage perks. If you're a backliner, run uh, the sniper build, or like siege. You could go field zone for ARs. Again, it depends what you want. So one thing I forgot to mention are shotguns. Shotguns kind of suck. I'm gonna be honest. Shotguns are not that good. I've never really used shotguns. So, yeah, that's it, I guess. Goodbye. Yo, I just reviewed the video. Oh my gosh, bro, this is so bad. Holy smokes, I need a better mic. Bro, I hate my own voice. This is so weird.